Well, old Lori has done it again. She has somehow managed to stall the trial by way of a wheelchair. Let's talk about it.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad, sipping from the cup at hey, hey.
Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. Psh, there's the sofa there. Psh, there's the sofa here. Psh, and there's the Paul here. My name is Paul if you're new to the channel. If you're not new to the channel, well, my name still is Paul. Now, this is going to be very quick. This normally would have been like a truck update, okay, if you've been following me, but the truck's way over there and I can't get to it, so I said we'll just do a quick little video, make it like a normal one, but it will be fast. The reason it's going to be fast is because Lori was fast on the wheels, okay? Lori has been able to stall the trial at least for a couple of days. Now, remember, this is Arizona versus Lori Daybell. This is the second part, or the last trial, I guess you could say, in all of her cases. It's Brandon Boudreaux. This is her former nephew-in-law. Now, Lori was sick on Friday, and they're like, okay, well, let's hold off. Let's come on Monday. Blah, blah, blah. We were talking like, is she going to do this? Is she going to do that? Is she going to do this? Well, here you go. They had 50 jurors come down. Brandon Boudreaux, his new wife, they're there. Everyone's ready to get going. Let's see justice. And in comes Lori, wheeled in a wheelchair, okay? Head down, talking about, it's been a long weekend in the portal. I can't make it. So what I want to do is, obviously I was not in the courtroom, so there's that, right? I typically follow like Nate Eaton, Lauren from Hidden True Crime, Gigi if she's there, from Pretty Lies and Alibis. So these are people I follow and whatnot. So what I want to do for this video specifically is look over and just go over just a few tweets, and that's what I call them, live updates, whatever you want to call it, from Nate Eaton of East Idaho News. If you're new to all of this and this is your first time hearing about any of this, make sure to follow Nate, make sure to follow East Idaho News. Amazing reporter. There's other ones out there as well too, Justin Lum, you name it. But Nate's very wonderful. I met him and his wife at CrimeCon. They're just really awesome people. So there's that. Now, what I'm going to do is just kind of, read over these and talk about them, okay? Now, the first thing that Nate goes over, not the first thing I should say, but the first one of his things that I want to talk about is this. So he writes, the judge says, I'm your trial judge. My instructions are to complete your second trial. Even if for some reason your sickness worsens, even if this case got delayed into June or July or August, I'd still be your trial judge. Now, this is the part here where I almost feel like she's trying to take control of the situation and get what she wants out of it. And that could be like him not being her judge. If you remember in the very beginning of this, there was a whole bunch of stuff going down where he was like, look, we have these crazy schedules. We have to do this. We have to do that. So there's a scheduling thing. So in my mind, I'm thinking she might be thinking, oh, if I push this off enough, it's going to go wherever. I'll get a new judge, however that will go, or simply just I'll get my way. Now, the next one, the judge explains that there are no attorneys here. I'm embarrassed to tell you because I've never had this come up in my entire career. Something has come up now and we're unable to proceed with jury selection as planned. The situation is such that we won't be able to resume until Wednesday morning. I hate to ask you guys to do this, and I apologize. Now, this is the judge talking to the jurors. Essentially, at one point, the judge is like, well, look, Lori, we need to bring these people down. Like, can we at least get through this? Because he's trying to even move it forward. And he's like, well, you don't have to be here. Your judge, your people can do the voir dire and all this type of stuff. And she's like, I have a right to represent myself. And then her counsel eventually was like, we don't feel comfortable doing this. And so he's trying to push it through. And then he's even like, oh, yeah, they're not going to be none of them are going to be that happy to come down here and be like, it's another dry run, right? So Lori's being all dramatic and this, that, and the other. Well, eventually she's like bursting out into tears and all this type of stuff. And so, and I think that's my next little thing that I'll put up here. But so she gets, wheeled out or whatever. So he has to tell the jury this in person. And that's where he's saying, I've never had this happen in my career. Okay, now the next one, and this is what I was just talking about. Lori is loudly crying. Judge asked Lori and the prosecutor to exit because Lori would not move from her wheelchair. The judge will now explain what is going on to the jurors without the prosecutor or the defense in the room, okay? So that's when we just went over. I'm kind of doing them backwards here, the way it was in the little article there. But yeah, he's like, look, you need to get in the normal chair, because obviously you can look from the state side where they're like, we don't want the jurors seeing her in a wheelchair because that could create this false, in my opinion, if I was the state, I would not want that, because I'd be like, that might make them be like, I can't do anything for somebody, I can't convict somebody in a wheelchair, or something of this flavor. It could be like a sympathy grab for Lori or whatever. So I get that dynamic. But for the judge to get to the part of being like, okay, well, all y'all got to go. I got to tell the jury something. This, if we can't do this, all y'all got to go. You know, prior to this, what was going on is the judge was like, look, I got to bring these jurors in. You know, can you sit in the regular wheelchair? What we just discussed, right? And this is where Lori gets all, you know, argumentative with them. And she's like, you're putting a lot of pressure on me to be better by Wednesday. Okay, I'm just going to start crying over here. I just start crying. Now, Nate writes that she's worried if she, you know, is not going to be even better by Wednesday. And she says, I'll quote, if I'm not better tomorrow, are you going to drag me in here on Wednesday to bring me here? And then Nate writes, Judge, yes. The answer is yes. I will probably order you to be here on Wednesday. We will take tomorrow off. I need to confirm how you're feeling. Now, then Lori tells the judge, Nate writes, you know, hey, you want to come down to jail, check on, see how I'm doing, whatever? And he's like, no, I'll pass on that. And that's a quote. And so then she's eventually wheeled out, and Nate writes that she is wheeled out in a wheelchair with her face down and her face in her hand. I'm sorry, with her face down and face in her hand. So those are the few things that I jotted down there about it that stuck out. So here's my thing. We left off Friday and I was like, do we think she's going to get dramatic? Do we think she's going to do this? I mean, that's just like a given or whatever. Now my thing is this. So we pushed it to Wednesday. Now remember, I'm in Eastern time. They're over in Arizona. So when I say Wednesday morning, it's really afternoon for us over here, you know, on the East Coast, whatever you're watching, later in the afternoon for us. So, or early afternoon, I should say. So here's my thing. I think she could legitimately be under the weather of some sort. She might be hamming it up, but the judge is like, no, we're not going to play this game. This is getting Sarah Boone level of stuff, right? So he's sitting here saying, like, you're going to need to be able to sit in like a regular chair while we're doing court. And apparently Lori's like, no, she's already setting herself up for it. You know, you're putting a lot of pressure on me to be, you know, better by Wednesday. Are you just going to drag me here? Yeah, you're on trial, honey. Okay. So unless she pulls some next level thing, what it also tells me, if they were going to bring her in a wheelchair, then they surely must have tested her for things like COVID or like things that would have been like, yeah, you can't go, right? You're contagious with something. Now I could be wrong. I don't know how that part works, but I would just assume that I would hope it would work that way, right? But we don't know. I think, and this is sofa speculation, this is non-credentialed opinion. I don't know. I'm not there. I think she is trying to obviously stall and delay, and it could be as simple as she just wants her way, right? She's not used to being told no. She wants this judge gone, and she is going to get her way. And it's also a control thing. Look at how much stuff she is in control of. It's like, you know, when they say, and I don't know how the saying goes exactly, but when that whole saying of like, who has the most control in a household where there's a baby? The baby. The household revolves around the baby, right? It's almost like that in this. Like Lori has so much control and she's taking it up to the edge of what she can exercise and get away with. I think there will be more drama on Wednesday. We will stay tuned and see. Dying to know your thoughts, dying to hear it in the comment section. And while you are in the comment section, drop some little sofas off for myself, Rosco and Spirit, Bo and Luke who are at the house, myself again, I guess. I forgot to say the Sofa Squad, but the Sofa Squad, and all the people who make up the Sofa Squad. So we can hang out, talk about Lori, all these kids will be talked about. And until we gather down there to talk about Lori and this latest drama, I'll see y'all soon.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey.